What is up, everybody? My name is BobaTalks and welcome to my Flash Season 4 Episode 5 review titled Girls Night Out. And I've actually been planning to do these reviews ever since the start of the season, but I broke my shoulder, so I could only do so many videos a week. And that's why I'm only doing this now. But from now on, these reviews for like Flash, Arrow, Gotham should be kind of fairly regular from there on out. And if you guys got any more video requests, just let me know in the comments below. So this episode was a good episode. It wasn't like amazing, but there were amazing parts in it that I loved. But let's start right at the beginning. At the beginning of the episode, we saw Ralph Dibny using his stretching powers, and it was nice to see him, explore a bit of his powers, because at the end of last episode, obviously Barry invited him to the team and offered to train him at Star Labs and utilize his powers in a way that could be helpful for the world one day. I have to say the effects weren't the very best, but at the same time, I didn't expect that with the CW. Obviously, the CW CGI has kind of been infamous for, the Flash sometimes looking like plastic. And I have to admit, last episode, the CGI for Ralph Dibny's stretching was actually pretty good. So in this one, it was okay, not as good as last episode, but when you're stretching your whole body around Star Labs like that, you can only do so much. But when he was stretching his hand later on in the episode, to steal that money in the club, that was pretty funny. So it's cool seeing Ralph being included a bit more into the team. Well, obviously, he's kind of a part of the team now. Also, I have to mention this in here. I like how Felicity came in talking about the security of this place. It was kind of like the show taking the piss out of itself, since there has been so many times in the past where it's Zoom, Saboteur, or anyone has just come in and walked through the door, because you literally can. And there's been remarks of this, of course, in the past, but I kind of like how they are taking the mickey out of themselves, because you can literally just walk in Star Labs. No security, to be honest. So yeah, they need to beef that up. And we also learned that Ralph Dibny was not invited to the bachelor party, and this was something I was kind of speculating about with my trailer breakdown for this episode, because I was kind of surprised in that trailer breakdown about why Ralph was there when he's only been in the team for so long, and it turns out he wasn't invited, and he kind of hijacked Cisco's plans for just, home movies, drinking brandy, and, getting that projector out, which I found kind of funny. And yeah, the comedy definitely was a bit with Cisco this episode, as always, really, with Cisco. I loved the comic Ewok level chub. That just made me laugh out loud so hard, because obviously I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and just little, points like this are just brilliant. But the fact that Ralph kind of invited himself along to this bachelor party made the episode the entertainment that it was, because obviously he hijacked it off Cisco, and they went to the Golden Booty Club, which is a very funny name, which is obviously that special kind of club, if you know what I mean. And, Ralph turned out to be the #1 customer, which doesn't surprise me, because his kind of backstory on the show is a bit of an itty gritty man. He's kind of trying to turn a bit good. But with the lighter tone this season and the comedy that is in play, this episode definitely delivered more, I would say, with the guys' side than the girls' side, because the girls' side had a more of a serious tone, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But, there was lots of drunk Barry moments, which was absolutely fantastic. From the trailer breakdown, we knew that Barry was going to be drinking that special juice that Cisco made up, which absolutely waxed Barry on his ass, and that definitely happened this episode. So we got some Titanic quotes. Barry effectively crying because he loves chicken wings so much, because he was so smashed. I like how their answer to, what if they need the Flash, because Barry, can he really get drunk, was Cisco being the designated superhero. That made me laugh as well. But what completely caught me off guard in this whole club scene of the bachelor party side of the night was Cecile's daughter going up on stage, and it just completely caught the cast, obviously the characters, off guard, as well as me, and it made me laugh out loud, because when I saw Joe's face, I just pictured, hello darkness, my old friend, yet again, because the previous time where I heard that was definitely when he found out that Cecile was pregnant, and he had that same look on his face, just staring into space. Now, as for the girls' side of the night out, they were quickly greeted by Novok, and now he did have that really weird parasite-y, snaky kind of thing coming out of his eyes, which was a really weird ability to have. It has to be meta, right? I'm assuming it is, but what a weird meta-human ability to get, to have a snake coming out of your eye, or whatever that feely thing is at the end. But regardless, Caitlin transformed into her Killer Frost self and absolutely kicked the crap out of him with her powers. And this paved the way to her wanting to go and seek out Amunet, because obviously Novok was going to Killer Frost on behalf of Amunet, because Amunet wants Killer Frost back, because she's obviously been been ducking away from Amunet, and we got a little bit of a backstory which I was really happy to receive as well. But let's talk a bit about Katee Sackhoff's Amunet. I was really excited for this part of the episode. Probably my most excited, definitely my most excited part of the episode, because Katee Sackhoff is a brilliant actor. She's been in quite a few shows, namely Battlestar Galactica, which is my favorite show that she's been in, and probably quite a few others. But even though I had a little bit of a problem with a couple of things that they did with her character in the episode, I thought she was extremely brilliant. She was very intimidating. I feel like this is the first metahuman. Maybe it's just her acting and her presence, but she was a very intimidating villain. She had a British accent, which was funny, and I felt like that actually added a bit more of the intimidating factor to her. Not obviously just the fact that she had the British accent, but the way that added to her demeanor and her presence. She was so confident that she could kick anyone's asses that it really came across with Katee's acting. And I just, not just fanboying out here, I hope you guys saw that as well. I really do feel like if you think about weekly villains and stuff like that, they don't compare to Katee Sackhoff's Amunet Black or Blacksmith at all in the series. But this is where I was also happy with the character development, or should I say the exploration of what the heck's been going on with Caitlin in terms of the past 6 months of the show. We learned that the reason why Caitlin, or should I say Killer Frost in this term, went to Amunet is because she found out, you know, she had some kind of tech that would kind of loosen Killer Frost's hold on the side of that personality so Caitlin could be more in control. And I have to say, this episode as well, Killer Frost, even when she was in Killer Frost form, wasn't exactly the cold Killer Frost that we got introduced to. It was more of the Caitlin Frost, because she was a lot more tolerant of others, even Team Flash. So it's interesting. I wonder if we're going to achieve a true kind of equal personality with Killer Frost, because I felt like that's what we got towards the end of the episode, where Iris said, you know, she has something she wants to talk to you all about. That was actually, it felt like Killer Frost was willingly letting Caitlin take over naturally there. And I don't know, maybe that's where they're stepping towards, because at the beginning where Killer Frost first came into the show, she was cold. She was even willing to stab people like Barry through the Achilles heel or something like that. I can't remember. But now, even from when we met Norvok in the episode, she was more down the middle. I would say she was like 60-65% Killer Frost, maybe 40-35% Caitlin. But as a result of this technology that she acquired from Amunet, she had to agree to kind of be a muscle or one of her henchmen to protect her, which obviously made her do quite a few bad things over the 6 months. But what we did learn through Iris appealing to the Killer Frost / Caitlin side of things in this episode is that the reason why she actually came back to Team Flash is because she wanted to kind of make up for some of the bad things that she did and some of the pain that she caused, which kind of makes sense. She could have obviously come back sooner. I guess it didn't have to take Cisco, but at the same time, she did mention how, you know, obviously when, you know, Cisco mentioned that he was trying to get Barry out, maybe that was an appropriate time to step in and try and become a part of the team again, which I thought was a good explainer, and I felt like we needed that. We also learned that one of the bus metas, which is very interesting, was being kept in the basement, and from now on I'm going to address this guy as the Weeper, because I believe that's what Iris called him. So Amunet was using his tears as a love kind of drug, because everyone in the club was using it and it gets you intoxicated, or I guess loved up, so to say. And she wanted to sell him to, I guess, another person. It's all a part of the underground black market thing that even Cecile mentioned that the CCPD, or just people in general, have spent ages and ages trying to get a hold of Amunet Black. I thought that the first fight between Amunet Black, or Blacksmith, and Killer Frost was pretty badass. I thought it was really cool how we kind of saw the Frost getting beaten out of Killer Frost back into Caitlin from Amunet. But the only thing that I felt like took away from the character is that this little bag of metal debris or whatever it was had to be brought around everywhere she went for her to, you know, manipulate that metal into whatever she wanted it to do. In this case, become a gauntlet or a shield. And the second fight is where that annoyance really came out for me. I felt like the way that Killer Frost, which I thought what she did was really cool, you know, that sort of bubble shield of ice, was remarkable and a really cool power to deflect from some of Blacksmith's projectiles. But as I said, I felt like the way they defeated her was seriously purely circumstantial. I mean, what if the meat wasn't in that steel mill factory or where the magnets were? I felt like that was As I said earlier in this review, I felt that Amunet Black was a really intimidating character, and I still feel that way. But the magnets, really, that's how you're going to defeat her? I just felt, as I said, that was purely circumstantial. If it was anywhere else, what would they have done? I would have felt like it would have been a lot better if Killer Frost actually defeated Amunet Black instead of a goddamn magnet that Cecile controlled. I just felt like that really wasn't good. It really took away from Amunet Black's character, even though I'm still really looking forward to what we have to come with her, because she basically made a promise to Caitlyn that she'd be back to ruin something for her as she ruined something for Blacksmith. I feel like the bag as well shouldn't necessarily be a thing that she brings around with her everywhere. It should be mainly metals that are anywhere, whether it's off cars nearby or anything, a street lamp, that she can just harness the metals from anything. But maybe she does bring those metals around with her because they're a particularly strong type, so when she makes a shield, obviously that would be a lot better metal potentially than just, I don't know, a street lamp typed metal. Now back to the guys for a second. It was funny how they ended up in jail despite Joe even being a cop. I really like how they explored and answered Joe's blank face that we've seen a few times in the past couple of episodes, and that is all because Joe is obviously worried about getting older. He's nearly 50 or something like that, and it is very late to be having a kid, and I felt like he has expressed that in the past couple of episodes, and Barry reassured him that he's got family, he's got friends, and everything will be okay. So that was a cool bit of character development that was definitely necessary to put in this episode. Now, if you remember, right at the beginning of the episode, we heard that Barry asked about DeVoe, and then Cisco and Harry were both just like, you know, there's thousands of DeVoes. So I'm glad that Team Flash are on the case. But, you know, it's going to be a couple of episodes before we get anywhere with that. But in terms of the Weeper, right at the end of the episode, the poor bloke just can't cut a break because he was walking in the streets still, completely topless. You would have thought he would have gone anywhere, not still wandering around on the streets, but I guess, you know, TV logic. He was still wandering around, and then the Thinker, you know, came out on the streets in his little floating hovery chair device thingy with these technological waves or things that might stun him. The Thinker mentioned how he obviously went through a lot of effort to create him, and when I was thinking about this episode, I thought that maybe this guy would come back and, you know, somehow Team Flash would find him and they would utilize his powers, but it seems that he's obviously going back to the Thinker's control now. So it's going to be interesting to see what the hell the Thinker has planned for him in terms of his love drug-esque powers. But overall, this episode was a good episode. It was definitely very funny for what it was. Obviously a bachelor and bachelorette party. There were lots of funny moments that I could talk about forever, but, you know, obviously this video would go on forever. But let me know what you thought of this episode, guys. What did you like? What didn't you like? Let me know down in the comments below. But if you guys ended up enjoying this video, let me know down in the comments below, and also leave a like if you ended up enjoying it, as it just really does show your support for the channel, and I really do appreciate it. We're also right round the corner for 10k, so maybe subscribe if you're new to this channel. We're so close, and it'd be awesome to hit it by the end of the week. But also, if you want to stay a bit more up to date with me personally, you can follow me on one of the links popping up on the screen around here, or you can click on one of them in the description down below. If you never want to miss a single upload to do with DCTV or just the Flash in particular, be sure to hit that notification button to ensure that you get notified for every single upload that But other than that, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.